Make the ground shake.
So, hey guys, what's going on? My name is By Gummy, and today we are here with another statue tutorial. Again, continuing with the Vanoss collection, we are doing the updated IAmWildcat statue. Again, I did one like 2 years ago, it's a bit outdated now, and I've made some general improvements to it to make it a bit more relevant and a lot nicer. So, anyways, the blocks you're going to need are the following. You'll need a light grey wool, a white wool, black wool, magenta wool, grey wool, mushroom block, and white stained clay. Now here is a bit of a dilemma. Mushroom block is available on PC versions 1.8 or below. I believe it's available on mobile and it's available on console edition. However, Minecraft versions 1.8, 9 and 1.10 do not have this block available. If you place it down, it's going to turn into like some brown mushroom block and it's going to be disgusting. So if you are building on PC, use white stained clay where I use the mushroom. Again, it's not 100% necessary to use the mushroom, but I think it's a nice skin tone colour, and then the white stained clay is going to be the pig skin tone colour. So anyways, with that little part out the way, I hope you guys understand. Again, if you are building on PC, just use white stained clay and ignore mushroom, but if you are building on a platform where the mushroom block, this one is available, then feel free to take full advantage of it because it's a really nice block. So with that said, again, let's get straight on into building. So we're going to start off with the front of the legs, which are 12 by 8. We'll work our way up the body, the arms, and then we'll work our way around the rest of the body, then eventually the head. So the front of the legs are 12 by 8, 12 tall, 8 wide, and the first 2 layers is simply 8 light grey wool. So you're going to find an area. I've got a lot of space, so find one isn't not a problem. And what we're going to do is again place 8 light grey wool. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm going to place 2 rows of it, so one on top of the other. From here on out, we're going to be going left to right, layer by layer. Now, this part, again, is a majority of white wool and black wool because it's like a zebra-style pattern. So the third layer is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 white wool and 3 black wool. The next layer is 4 black wool, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 4 white wool. The next layer is 6 white wool, 2 black wool. So currently 5 blocks tall, 8 blocks wide. The next layer is 2 black wool, 1 white wool, 2 black, 3 white. The next layer is 6 white, 2 black. The next layer is 3 black, 5 white. The next layer is 4 white, 4 black. Again, I keep on like backing up and zooming out just in case you do want to pause. The next layer is 2 black, 6 white. The next layer is 5 white, 3 black. And the last but not least row is 4 black and 4 white. So once you've done that, it will look something like this. Again, that is 12 tall and 8 wide, and that is our little zebra pattern we're going to be using. Now again, if you want to pause, now would be a good time. And this is where I'm going to teach you a little trick, which is pretty useful, especially if you're on console. So what you do is grab a map, or if you're on PC, press F3 and look for your Y coordinate. If you come to the floor here, you'll notice my Y coordinate is 5. If you come up to the top here, we're looking for 17 because that's 12 on top of 5. And as you can see, it is 17. So essentially what that does is proves that this is 12 tall and 8 wide. Now, the reason why I'm teaching you that is because it's better to use coordinates than having to count every time, because once you get up to the point where we've put the top of the head and the top of the body, you're going to have to count like 32 blocks each time, and that's really, really long and takes up a lot of time. It takes up a lot more than you think it does because you're going to have to do it several times. So it's a useful like trick just to get into the habit of using Y coordinates. So find your floor level. Yours might not be 5, it might be say 10, and then add 12 onto it. So if yours is say 10, yours should be 22 right here. So again, that's a useful tip. Bear that in mind when you're building in future. So what we're going to do now is we now have this leg section, which is 12 tall, 8 wide. We're going to start working on the body. But before we work on the body, we're going to mark out where the hands go. So we're going to start off by placing 1 white wool on either side, left and right, and then we're going to get our mushroom blocks. And again, if you're on PC and you don't have mushroom blocks available, use white stained clay for this. Go 1, 2, 3, 4 to the left using our mushroom blocks. And on the right side, we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4 to the right again using our mushroom blocks. And that's all we're going to do for the arms for now. We'll come back to that later on and work on it then. But for now, we're going to work on the body. So again, the body is 12 tall and 8 wide, the exact same as the legs. So the first layer in between the already existent white wool is we're going to place 6 white wool. The second layer is 2 white wool. So on top of this white wool here, we place 2 white wool, 1 grey wool, 2 magenta, 1 grey, 2 white. The third layer is 1 white wool, 2 magenta, 2 black, 2 magenta, 1 white wool. The next layer is 1 white wool, 1 magenta, 1 black, 2 magenta, black, magenta, white. The next layer is 1 white wool, 1 magenta, 1 black, 2 magenta, black, magenta, white. So again, right now, it's 5 blocks tall, 8 blocks wide. The next layer is 1 white wool, 1 grey, 4 magenta, 1 grey, 1 white. The next layer is 1 white, 1 magenta, 4 black, 1 magenta, 1 white. The next layer is 1 white, 1 magenta, 1 white, 2 black, white, magenta, white. The next layer is 3 white wool, 2 black, 3 white wool. That's our 9th layer. The 10th layer is 8 white wool. The 11th layer is 3 white wool, 2 mushroom. Again, if you're on PC, use white stained clay. And then 3 white wool. And the last but not least row, or layer, is 2 white wool, 4 mushroom, and 2 white wool. And once you've done that, it will look something like this. As you can see, we've got our zebra, like pajama bottoms. We've got our white t-shirt with the logo on it. And then we've got his neck. Now again, if you come to the top of here, you should be 24 blocks off the floor. In my case, again, my floor level is 5. So we're Y29 here. That is officially 24 off the floor. That rhymed. But anyways, again, it saves you going all the way down and counting 24, and that is time consuming. And it gets even worse once you get to the head and you're dealing with 32. So if you want to pause, again, from this bottom corner, just above the black wool to the top right, is 12 tall and 8 wide. And again, this would be a good time to pause. I will come back later on if you want to catch up, but why not? What better time than the present? But anyways, with that said, on the basis you do want to move on, I'm not going to force you to stay. Not really. And we're going to come to the left arm, and we're going to start working on that. So the left arm is 12 tall, 4 wide. We've already got the first layer here, and for some reason, if you didn't do already, it is on the 13th layer of the build, and you build out 4 to the left. It should be in line with the first layer of the body, up diagonal from this black wall right here. So, as I said, it's 12 tall, 4 wide, each layer is 4, and the first 8 layers is mushroom. Again, if you're on PC, use white stained clay. Unless you have access to mushroom, you're using some texture pack or mold or something, I don't know. There are ways to access it, but it's a real pain, so I'm just going to go on the assumption you're not using it and suggest white stained clay. So again, the first 8 layers is mushroom. So we got the first layer, and then we're building up 7. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so that's 8 rows in total, 8 layers in total. And then on top of that, we're going to place 4 layers of 4 white wool. So 4x4 square of white wool. And that is the left arm complete. And the other arm is the exact same. It's as simple as that. So if you want to skip ahead, you are more than welcome to do so. But I'm going to go over it nevertheless. So the right arm, again, exact same. 13th layer, we come to the right side, build out 4. Exact same height as the other one. On top of this, we're going to place 7 layers of mushroom. So it's 8 in total. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then on top of that, a 4x4 square of white wool. And that will bring you up to the same height as the top of the body. And that will bring you to the, I guess, completion of the front of the body. So right now, it should be looking like this. Let me chop off my arm, get rid of my hotbar, make everything nice and easy to see. As you can see here, that is what it should look like so far. It is 24 tall, 16 wide, 8 wide. If you're not including the arms, who knows why you would not be including the arms. Apologies, I just like punched the mic there. I don't know why. I must have been so angry at the suggestion that anyone would build this without the arms. I don't know why that would make me so mad that I'd want to punch the mic, but who cares? So with that said, anyways, we got this, and it's looking a bit flat. So what we're going to do is start making it 3D. So we're going to come to the bottom left corner and start expanding it 1, 2, 3 backwards using light grey wool. Now, the thing about the sides is it's 12 by 4, 12 tall, 4 wide. However, we already have this row here, which is the 4th block, so we're only placing 3 blocks on each row. Which means, going from left to right, we go 1, 2, 3, and then this one here will be the 4th block. Hopefully you understand that. It's a pretty easy concept. But anyways, again, we're going to go layer by layer. The other side is different, so don't skip ahead. Don't be speedy. Don't be like racing ahead. I know I always encourage it sometimes, but this is definitely not one of those times. So anyways, starting at the bottom left corner, first layer is 3 light grey. I'm not going to include this one in my description, so I'm just going on the basis this is already here for you guys. The second layer is 3 light grey again. The third layer is 2 black wool, 1 white. The next layer is 2 white, 1 black. The next layer is 3 white. We then have 3 black, 3 white, 3 black, 3 white. It's very simple. The next row is 2 white, 1 black. The next row, second to last row already, is 1 black, 2 white. And then the final row is 2 white, 1 black. So, it's as easy as that. It's a 12 by 4, as you can see here. It looks like this. And again, it's like the zebra stripe pattern, which we have at the front. And yeah, it's as simple as that. 10 layers of zebra stripe pattern, 2 layers of light grey, and it's 4 wide. So just to go over it again, 2 layers of light grey, layer of 2 black, 2 white, 2 white, 2 black, 4 white, 4 black, 4 white, 4 black, 4 white, 2 white, 2 black, 1 black, 3 white, 2 white, 2 black. It's very, very easy. The majority of them are just plain striped layers, so that makes it a hell of a lot easier. But anyways, with that said, we're now going to move on to the right side. So this is not the same as the other side, as I mentioned earlier, and it's slightly more complicated. There's a bit more detail to it, but that's not intentional. That's just the way the pattern forms, because, you know, a zebra has random stripes. I don't know. But anyways, what we're going to do is come again down to here and expand 1, 2, 3 backwards using our light grey wool. Again, the second layer is the exact same. So now, again, left to right, layer by layer, 3 blocks in each row. Ignore this row here. Again, as I always say, we're only doing the 3 blocks that are missing. So the next row, the third row, is 1 black wool and 2 white. We then have 2 white and 1 black. The next row is 2 black, 1 white. We then have 3 white. Next row is 1 white, 2 black. The next row is 3 white, then 3 black, then 3 white. That was a little easy part. Next row, whoops, if I don't get bumped off there, is 1 black wool, 2 white, and then the final row is 1 white and 2 black wool. So as you can see there, slightly different to the other side. There's a bit more like there's more rows that aren't just flat out one colour, and a bit more detail, I guess you could say. But again, it's 12 by 4, same logic, 12 tall, 4 wide, and that is what it should look like. So, now what we're going to do is the side of the arms. So, the way we're going to do this is come around to the rear of the statue. Man, I'm really bad at avoiding this mushroom blocks. There we go. So, you'll find yourself here. What we're going to do is go to the bottom of the mushroom blocks and go 1, 2, 3 backwards. Again, if you're using white stained clay, use white stained clay. And we're going to do this all the way across on both arms. So we build it backwards 1, 2, 3, all the way across on both arms. And if you come down below underneath, you'll notice it's a 4x4 square now of the block you are using. So what we're going to do is come around to the left side of the left arm, and you're presented with a sideways L, or a backwards L, whatever way you want to look at it. So, the first 8 layers is mushroom block, or white stained clay, if you're using white stained clay, and then the final 4 layers is white wool. So all we're going to do is on top of this existing row here, which you should already have, we're going to place 7 layers of 3 mushroom blocks, and then once we get up to the 8th layer, we're going to do 4 layers of 3 white wool. So as you can see here, it looks like this, 8 layers of 4 mushroom, 4 layers of 4 white wool. And he said 8 layers again, but that would make no sense. So as you can see from the side here, 8 tall, 4 tall equals 12 tall. So again, very, very simple. The other side is the exact same, so that's really, really nice. We just scoot on around to here, do 7 more layers on top of this mushroom block here, so 8 in total, 8 layers of mushroom block, and then 4 layers of white wool. That'll bring you up again to the same height as the front of the body, and as you can see, 12 tall, 4 wide, and then of course the side of the legs, which is the exact same measurements. Not the same design though, as you could probably tell. So anyways, it's looking really, really nice, starting to take shape. You can see here from the right angle and then from the left angle. Don't worry if you want to pause, we have an opportunity coming up in the very near future in the video where you'll be able to catch up if you need. But for now, what we're going to do is worry about the rear of the statue, and first off the rear of the legs. So let's come around to here. As you can see, big old gap, it's looking a bit messy. That's what we're going to work on cleaning up now. So working on the back of the legs, because it's probably the hardest part. Once you've got that out of the way, it's very, very easy. We're going to start off on the first layer, and one thing to note is it is 12 tall, 8 wide. However, row here plus row here equals 2, which means we're only placing 6 blocks per row, because 2 plus 6 equals 8. Perfect. So the first 2 rows, very, very simple, just 6 light grey. That'll match up each side, and then we've got 10 layers, of course, of the zebra striped pajama bottoms. I guess they're pajama bottoms, they might be just like jeans or weird trousers, but who knows. So the first layer, or in this case the third layer of the legs, is 1 white wool and then 5 black wool. The next row is 6 white wool. The next row is 1 white wool, 2 black, 3 white. The row after that is 4 white, 2 black. The next row is 1, 2, 3 black and 3 white. The next row is 5 white, 1 black. Again, I keep on backing up just in case you want to pause, because I know visuals are sometimes better than me explaining, because some of you guys don't really like my explanations. So the next row is 1 black and 5 white. The row after that is 2 white, 2 black, 2 white. The next row is 5 white, 1 black, and the final row is 1, 2, 3 black and 3 white. And once you've done that, that is 12 tall, 8 wide, and that is the rear of the legs. So once we've got that out the way, this is where things get really, really easy. So the back of the body, because you rarely actually see the back of the body, but as far as I'm aware, it's just a white t-shirt, so that's what we're going on here, is a 12 by 8 of white wool. So all we're going to do is on top of this black wool here, we're going to build up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. You don't even need to count really, you can just build up what you think is 12, match it across to the front, and if it matches up perfectly like this, it means it's generally correct, unless you really messed up the front side, but as long as you use that map trick, or you just counted, it's really, really difficult for you to have. So all you do is just build up 12 all the way across using white wool, and it will give you a 12 by 8 of white wool, of course, whatever colour would it. Imagine that, you build a 12 by 8 of white wool, and it just instantly turns into like pink wool or something. That'd be kind of interesting, annoying, but interesting. But anyways, you can see here, just build in all the way across. It's very, very simple. 12 by 8 of white wool. Then you can go ahead and join it up to the front like I'm doing here. This part isn't really necessary because it will be covered up by the head. But if you're in creative, materials are unlimited, so why not? So anyways, as you can see, it will look like this. Super, super detailed, super complicated. But if you have managed to do it, then good job. You have a 12 by 8 of white wool. So for the back of each arm, again, very, very simple. We have row on each side, so we're only placing 3 blocks on each row, and also the first one's already done, so we're only placing 11 layers. So the first arm, we're just going to choose this one. We're going to build 7 layers of mushroom blocks, or white stained clay, if you're using white stained clay, on top of the already existent one. And you'll know you've done it correctly because it will come up to the same height as the sides. Then, of course, we have 4 layers of white wool, and that will bring you up to the same height as everything else. And you go ahead and fill this area in on the top shoulder in with white wool. And that is the back of the arm complete. Heading over to this side, it's the exact same. So it's an 8 by 4 of mushroom blocks or white stained clay, and then 4 by 4 of white wool. And then the shoulders, again, is a 16 by 4 of white wool, but I'll explain more about that in a second. So as you can see, that's the back of the body. And now what we're going to do before we move on to the head is a brief little like spin around to show you guys what everything should be looking like so far, dimensions, everything you may need to know to ever build this statue, and ultimately I guess your last opportunity to pause the videos, catch up and do what you want to do. With this said, I'm not going to openly say every time I think you should pause. Please use your logic and pause, hit the pause button should I say, when you feel you need to, when's a good opportunity, and that's generally the best way to do things. So anyways, this is the front of the legs. It's 12 by 8. We have the front of the body here, which is 12 by 8, and the front of each arm, which is 12 by 4. Coming around to the left side, we have the left side of the leg, which is 12 by 4. We have the left side of the arm, again 12 by 4. Coming around to the right side, we have the right side of the leg, 12 by 4. The right side of the arm, 12 by 4. Coming around to the rear, we have the rear of the legs, 12 by 8. The rear of the body, 12 by 8. And the rear of each arm, 12 by 4. And of course, last but not least, the shoulders, which is indeed 16 wide and 4 deep. So with that said, hopefully you are all at a point now where we can move on to actually building the head. So what we're going to do here is you're going to be using white stained clay. So if you are using mushroom for the rest of the build, then chuck that away, you don't need it anymore. And the reasoning behind that is because this is where he's wearing the pig mask. So the reason why I want to use white stained clay for the pig mask is because it's like more of a peachy colour, whereas the mushroom is more of an olivey skin tone. Like someone who lives in like the Mediterranean kind of skin tone, whereas this is more like a fleshy kind of colour, like the colour of pig masks, I guess, because pig masks definitely have a natural colour. But anyways, I'm getting a bit off topic here. So what we're going to do is come to the front side and to the top left corner, so this one here, and then we're going to count 5 to the right. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and on this 5th block, which happens to be a white wall, we're going to place 1 white stained clay and bring it 2 forwards. Then what we're going to do is do the exact same on the right side. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the 5th block, place 1 white stained clay, bring it 2 forwards, and if you've done it correctly, there should be a 6 block gap in between, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, as you can see there. We're going to fill it in with white stained clay, and the outer layer, we're going to place 2 white stained clay, 2 black wool, and then 2 white stained clay, and it will give you an 8x2 overhang like so. What we're now going to do is come around to these sides, and we're going to expand it backwards 5 on each side, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and on this side 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we're going to link them together again by placing 6 blocks in the middle, and that will give you an 8x2 overhang on the rear side. And most importantly, at the top you'll see that it's now an 8x8 square, which is the template for our head. So we're going to come to the front side because we're going to do the face first, and then we'll worry about the other sides later on in the video. So the first 4 layers is simply white stained clay minus these 2 blocks here. So on top of this, we're going to place 3 layers of 8 white stained clay. Now, the reason behind this is because there's going to be, of course, a nose, because he's wearing a pig mask, and it's going to be a relatively big and noticeable one. Again, we'll worry about that later on. So the 5th layer is 1 white wool, 1 black wool, 4 white stained clay, 1 black wool, 1 white wool. The next layer is 1 white wool, 2 black, 2 white stained clay, 2 black, 1 white wool. The next layer is 8 black wool. And then the next layer is 8 white wool. Okie dokie. So right now it should be an 8x8 square, as you can see here. And it looks really, really weird without the nose actually. It's really funny. But if you want to pause, you're more than welcome to do so. But as you can see here, we've got his eyes, the little like strap at the top of the helmet, and then of course the actual helmet. So we're going to add the nose now before I re-throw everyone off and make you think that this is it, because it's not. So what we're going to do is go to the mouth part here, and the layer above we're going to place 2 white stained clay and then go 1 to the left, 1 to the right, so it's a row of 4. Again, this is 3D, so we're building on top, not into. Again, it's 4 wide. We're then, on the left side and the right side, going to build up 1 using black wool. So you'll have 1 black on the left, 1 black on the right, and in between we're going to place 2 white stained clay. On top of this, we're going to place 4 white stained clay, and once you've done that, it will look like this. And now it looks like he's wearing like a sweatband, but you can see the resemblance to a pig. At least I hope you can. But again, this is the front side so far. We will be adding some stuff later on, but I'll come back and talk about that again later on in the video. So now what we're going to do is move on to the sides. So for the sides, we're going to start on the left one first. what we're going to do is we're going to make essentially an 8x8 square and then build the 3D effects onto it. So, we're going to start off, we have this first layer of white stained clay here, we're going to build up 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all the way across, and we're going to make this go all the way around the statue. So we just build up 6 all the way around. Normally, when I say this, we'd be building up 7, but we want to make this a 8 wide by 7 square because the top layer is going to be a layer of white wool. See, the way this is going to work is there's going to be 3D effects on every single side apart from the top of the statue. And again, that's important because otherwise it's going to look really bulky. But the way we're doing this is doing the top layer as white wool. So that's going to be the actual top layer of the head rather than having to add another layer on. So again, you just do this all the way around. You just build up 6 using white stained clay. And then you do a final layer, which is the 8th block of white wool. So we just go all the way around using our white wool. And then what you can go ahead and do is fill this whole area in here as well using white wool, and that will be the top of the head complete. So again, this will be an 8x8 square of white wool, and then on each side you'll have an 8x8 square. So this is the left side, this is the rear side, this is the right side. So it's 7 layers of white stained clay and a layer of white wool. So what we're going to do now is the 3D effects and start turning this into looking like a helmet. So coming back around to the left side, what we're going to do is go to the bottom left corner and we're going to go up to the second layer. We're going to place 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 white wool. Again, this is all 3D, we're building on top, not into. The next layer is 8 white wool, so it should cover the whole layer of white stained clay. And then the next 5 layers is the exact same, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then up to the same height as the white wool here, number 5. So as you can see, what that does is essentially covers up the majority of the side of what we just placed. You'll see the only white stained clay still visible is the first row of 8 and then the 2 blocks on the second row. So what we're going to do is go around to the other side now and do the exact same. So we go to the bottom right corner this time, we go up 1 block and we place 6 white wool. The second row we place 8. And we replicate this 5 more times on the rows above. Okay, again that will bring you up to the same height as the white wool right here. And it should look like this. So we will be adding some details onto the sides, and again we'll discuss that later on. But for now what we're doing is trying to get the actual base helmet design. So coming around to the rear of the statue now, you're presented with something that looks like this. What we're going to do is come to the bottom left corner of the white stained clay, go up 1 and place a row of 8 white wool. Now, it won't connect up to the white wool already here, or I mean technically it does diagonally, but it doesn't connect physically like so. We want to keep the corners empty, otherwise again it will look really bulky, so by cutting off the corners you make it look a bit more rounded and a bit nicer. So on top of this we're going to place another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 layers of white wool, and it will look like this. Essentially, it's an 8x7 square of white wool. So, what we're going to do now is, as you can see, we're starting to have a helmet. It's starting to come together and look somewhat decent. What we're going to do is come to the front side now and start making this make a bit more sense. So, what we're going to do is come to the white wool on the corner, so this one here, the lowest point, and we're going to go up 1. We're then going to place 1 white wool, and we're going to go up 1, 2, 3, 4. We do the same on this side, so we go to the lowest white wool, we go up 1, place 1, and we go up 1, 2, 3, 4. So up to the same height as this point here. We're then going to link it together, so we build across 6 blocks, or 8 blocks I guess. 8 blocks, sorry I can't count. And it will look like this. Then what we're going to do is place on the next row, so we leave a 1 block gap, we place 8 white wool, and then a 1 block gap on this side, and it will look like this. As you can see, it's starting to come together a bit more and looking a bit better. So for the top of the build, what we're going to do now is essentially add another layer on. Now I said earlier that we weren't going to, I just realised looking back on the footage that it looks a lot better if you do. So what we're going to do is essentially add a whole nother layer on top of the whole top of the head, minus this left and right block at the front. So it should look like this. It should be a 1 block gap on the left side at the front and a 1 block gap on the right at the front. What we're going to do is then fill in a whole layer on top, so the head is actually in fact going to be 9 tall, but I guess it makes sense because it's a helmet, so it'd be on top of the head and not part of the head. So again, you go ahead and add a whole layer. That wasn't intentional for me to say a head, but who knows, I guess I just pointed out. Probably a lot of you wouldn't have noticed that if I hadn't have said, but anyways, what you can see here is what it should look like. It should essentially be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 by 10 square with 1 block missing in each corner. Now the reason that is because at the front side we want to curve it in a bit more, make it look a bit more rounded, and at the rear side, as you can see, we've got the corners missing again to add to the whole like rounding theme. So what you could do potentially as well is punch out a block on each corner like that on the rear side, but from the top point of view it wouldn't look quite as good. So again, it's up to you, you can do what you want to do. But with that said, that is more or less the statue complete. All we've got to do is add the ears. So where we're going to add the ears is on, of course, the left and right side of the head. So we're going to come around to the left side first and up to the top left corner. What we're going to do is count 1, 2, 3, and on the 4th block we're going to go down 1. We're then going to place 1 white stained clay, go down twice, to right 1, up 1, and that is ear number 1. So again, just to recap that, we go to the top left corner, 1, 2, 3, 4, down 1, place 1, down 2, to right, up 1. So it's 5 blocks, and again, it's located 3 blocks away from the side and the 2nd row down. If we come around to the right side now, again, we go to the top right corner, we go 1, 2, 3, 4, go down 1, place block, down 2, left 1, up 1, and that is the right ear. And yeah, that's the 2 ears. As you can see, you can't really see them from the front, but when you come around to the side, they're really noticeable, and I think they really do add something to the build, hence why we've added them. Of course, I wouldn't be adding them if they ruin the build, that would be silly. But anyways, with that said, that is the build complete. Now I'm going to get rid of my arm, I'm going to do a little spin around of the head. Bear in mind the actual head itself is 8x8x8, but that's pretty relevant because we've added a ton of 3D effects, so in theory it's really like 10x10. But anyways, again, feel free to pause whenever you want whilst I have a little talk about things that are coming up on the channel and things you should potentially stay tuned for. So if you did enjoy this, definitely consider leaving a like on the video and subscribing down below. I really do appreciate all the guys out there who have been supporting me recently. Support has been down a ton, but you guys who have stuck around have been really, really awesome, and it hasn't gone unnoticed. I really do appreciate it. Again, leave a comment suggesting what you want to see. The majority of my summer schedule is already planned out, so it won't be until like September where you actually start to see new style videos coming out. But anyways, with that said, again, there are other videos I'll be doing on the 2nd and 3rd channel because I'm uploading onto the Frosted Network channel some plushies, if that's what you want to see, and again some like IRL unboxing videos on the 2nd channel as well as the FNAF World characters. But yeah, that's pretty much it. If you want to go check them out, then feel free to do so, and again, I really do appreciate the support. But until next time, my name has been By Gummy, and goodbye.
Eyes in the sky, gazing far into the night. I raise my hand to the fire, but it's no use, 'cause you can't stop it from shining through. It's true, baby, let the light shine through. If you believe it's true, baby, won't you let the light shine through for you?